Okay, today's Daf Hay. We're starting 4 lines from the bottom, Kahal on the base, and Avodah Zara. This week's sponsors, we got Daf Yomi, sponsor of the week, Rabbi and Evelyn Kiswasi, in honor of their upcoming marriage, and Lana to Joey Brecher of Los Angeles. Mazel Tov. Okay, Rabbi Shua Levi has another member. Mama Rabbi Shua Levi. 4 lines to the bottom, Kahal on the base. Loy Asi Yisrael as an eagle. Because Yisrael did not commit the sin of the eagle. Ella Likek Pischa Pella Balek Tshuva. 4 lines to the bottom, Kahal on the base. In order to give a opening excuse to the Balek Tshuva. Shegamar mi yikeg v'haya levavam. Zelahem liyira isi kol hayamim. So that it goes at that time. Yisrael, they were Giborim, they were Yirei Hashem, and they weren't fit really to commit the egel, the golden calf. Really, David HaMelech, who sang with Bathsheba, really wasn't either fit to do the sing with Bathsheba. Right? And Klal Yisrael again was not really fit. It wasn't really fit to stumble in the mice of the Egel Azav. So why gig a stumble? In order to give a Pischon Peh for Kiguk Tshuva. In other words, if Klal Yisrael can do Tshuva the Egel, we can do Tshuva on Averis. And if Governor Melech can do Tshuva, you know the whole story with Governor Melech. The gates opened up for him, right? The gates opened up for Governor Melech. So you see that Hashem was mechaper on Avera and Governor Melech gig. So let's see over here. Like Governor Roy Loisa Maisa with Bashava, Governor wasn't really fit to do the Maisa with Bashava Gechsev. Velibi Chala Bekirbi. The Rashi says it's referring to as Yek Zahara. By Yek Zahara dying in me. And I don't really have, it doesn't have kayak to rule over me. Lo Yisrael rule Leisa Maisa, and Klal Yisrael wasn't really fit. Again, to the Egel, Gechsev, Bi Yikei, Vayel Levavav, Zelav, Yiro, Isi Kol Yavim. El Lama Asu, so why did Klal Yisrael do the Egel Azav? Why did they commit the Egel Azav? And why did Governor Melech commit the sig with Bathsheba? Why Melacha to tell you She'im Chaka Yachig, Armu like Chach Eitzel Yachig. If one single individual sings, we say, look, Governor Melech did a sing, and he did tshuva, and Hashem forgive him. So you too do tshuva. Ve'em Chaku Tzibor, similar if the Tzibor doesn't have Avera, Armu like Chach Eitzel Tzibor. Look at Klal Yisrael, they get tshuva on their Avera of the Egel Azav, and they got forgiving. So therefore, you should also do tshuva. So they sort of went out on a limb to teach you how to do tshuva. It's interesting. They give a whole Egel Azav in order to give you an excuse. Now you should go, you can do tshuva. And you say with Governor Melech, he became embarrassed and he gave a whole mice of Bathsheba. He can tell you that it's possible to do tshuva. If you do tshuva, you can get kapara.
Doesn't jealousy could cause murder as well, couldn't it?
Huh?
Jealousy could cause murder, couldn't it?
Yeah, okay, but he ain't. Well, you're saying, it could have, yeah. But tzricha, you need both cases of Egel Azav and Governor Melech. Giyash b'gay Yachig. If it's a case by Yachig, by Governor Melech, v'shalom m'farsa chekt. Governor Melech's chekt wasn't so in public, so it wasn't such a chil Hashem. But the tzibor, like a gig Egel Azav, can be farsam chekte, they can actually take a chek in public. Then you would say Emallah, you would say maybe the tshuva is not makabel. Therefore, you get kikshus both of those cases. If it only taught you the case of tzibor, right, you would say maybe Hashem has a lot of mercy on the masses when there's a lot of people. Right? Right? We say yesterday, a person by himself doesn't have so much schosim. Tzricha, and therefore you get kikshus both cases. the case of David HaMelech and the case of the Egel Azov, in order to teach you that whether you're Yachid, whether you're Rabbi, if you do tshuva, you will have kapara. Ha'ingel Rav Shmuel Bar Achmegi. Amar Rabbi Yogason. My Yechsiv, says in Shmuel, Ne'um Gavig Beg Yishai, Ne'um HaGever, Hukam All. Ne'um Gavig Beg Yishai. Praiseworthy is Gavig Beg Yishai, Shehekem Ula Shal Tshuva. He brought to life the to'elis, the gain a person has when he does tshuva. So that's what it means, right? He has a gain, a person has a gains when he does tshuva, Hashem will be mechaper on his sins. Another saying by Rav Shmuel Bar Achmegi, Amar Rabbi Yogason, Kol oiseh mitzvah achas ba'olam hazeh, mikagmasa v'alachas b'fanav v'olam haba. Anyone who does one mitzvah in this world, that mitzvah will come in front of him in the next world. We saw this concept a little bit yesterday. They will testify for him. But especially if a guy has a specific mitzvah that he does constantly, that mitzvah will come and go in front of him at Kisei HaKavod and hopefully get you a good judgment. A person a good judgment. Shigamar, v'halach lefanecha tzikecha k'voy Hashem yaspecha. If somebody does one Avera in this world, the Avera will wrap him up. It will go with him. It will go with him while you have a gig. Shigamar, Yulafsu Archas Garkam, Yalu Basayu V'Yavegu. The Rishayim, they were enveloped in their Averas to get gig back things, therefore they went to Gehenna and they were lost. So, next, Malazar Eimer not only does it come along with you in Averis to Gehenna, to teach to Yom Agim, Kashura like a Kalev. It ties to you like a dog. So you basically have a dog following you, not you, but someone can have a dog following him. Like let's say he did whatever Aveir was, it won't go away from him. Shemar we see by Yosef and Eshes Pokifar, he did not listen to Eshes Pokifar to sleep with her. Leos Ima can be with her. So why does it say Lishkav Exla? Leos Ima. What's the Gabalashing? Lishkav Exla Mazah. He didn't sleep with her in this world. Leos Ima. He was able. He said, "Go. I don't want to have to have air with you because otherwise you're gonna have a Eshes Pokifar dog coming along with Yosef and Tzaddik in the next world." So it's pretty nasty. Okay? We thought we go all about dogs, but we definitely don't want them in the next world, chasing us or being with us. So I would advise anyone to do tshuva pretty fast. Let's give credit to our forefathers who they sing by the eagle. If they wouldn't have sing by the eagle, they would be like malachim, and malachim can't have children. So if they wouldn't have sing, they would be like on a level of angels, and we wouldn't be born. Because they'd be like malachim. Shagabar agia marki aleim akem elohim akem. You're like malachim. El yoy kulchem. Vachibalkem, you sing. Masechem, you're acting. Achei ka'adam temusim. You're like a person. You're like a person. So really, before they get Egel Azov, they left Sinai. They were on the level of a malach, angel, who can't have children. So we have to give them credit because since they sing, we're around today. Even though there's before we talk about maybe it's better that we're not born, right? And we're born and we do, maybe which one's better? The Gemara has a question. Is it better not to be born? But here it seems from the Gemara that it's better that we're born, right? Because we're giving credit because we're able to be born. When it comes out that they wouldn't have done the Egel Azov, we wouldn't be born. It says by Goyach, Hashem told Noach, "Akab piruvu, go be fruitful and multiply." She got have kids. What's the answer? Sinai. You're right. Hashem told Noach to have kids, but maybe until Sinai, until that. But afterwards, maybe Noah would be born because once he got Torah, it would be like Malachim. Noah would be able to be born. So Gemara says, Sinai, Namiksiv, Lech Emerlahem, Shavu Lochem Lelechem. It says by Sinai, after they got the Torah, by Kabbalah Torah, it says, go back to your kegs. That told that your usher could be with their wives for 3 days beforehand. But now you have a mixture go period of Rivia, go back to your wives and have children. So you see that they were commanded to have children even after Sinai. Even though it's right, even before the Chek Egel. So Gemara says, "Usimchas Eigal." No, they didn't. Hashem didn't come go back to the wives to have children, just to be with them. It was also to be with your wife before Matan Torah. Not going to have children, just to pleasure them and be with them in the period where you're supposed to be with your person's supposed to be with his wife, but not that they can have children. Ivaksiv. It says after Matan Torah, L'ma Yikag, who will fear Hashem? L'ma Yikag will have L'vgayim. So you see that even before the Chek Egel, you see that they had children. L'aisim L'egel Ar Sinai. It's not Hashem is going to give reward to the ones. Maybe it means the ones who were scagging Ar Sinai. But the truth is, if they look at Gag Avera, they would not have children. So Gemara is back in the original statement that if it doesn't, we have to give time, we have to give credit for people who give the Egel. Because if it wasn't for the Egel, it would be like Malachim, it would be like angels, and we would not be born. Guys, Gemara is holding by that question now. Gemara has no proof that really you're supposed to have children even without the Egel. Right? The Gemara has no proof. The Gemara says, Mamar of Shwakish, Magich Civic, says like a pasuk in Bereshis. Zeh Sefer Tolos Agam. This is the chronicle of Agam. Sefer highlight Agam Rishon. Agam Rishon really have a sefer. Malamish Haralai Kadosh Baruch Hu Agam Rishon. Kadosh Baruch Hu showed Agam Rishon Gar V'Garshav. Each generation and the people who expound in the Torah. Gar V'Chachamam. Each generation and its Chachmei Torah. Gar Parasam. Kadosh Baruch Hu showed Agam Rishon, each generation and its person who is going to support the Torah. Kiva Shagil at Gar Rebbe Kiva. Once Hashem reached the Gar of the generation of Rebbe Kiva, Samach Pikarasasher. Wow, Agam Rishon was happy with the Torah of Rebbe Kiva. But it was very sad the way Rebbe Kiva died. Right? Rebbe Kiva was one of the Asar Ruge Malchus. And he got his skin combed off. So Adam Rishon was happy with the Torah that he brought to the world, but he was saddened with the way he died. Amar v'li mayikrach mayikaru reyacha el. So you see that they knew that there would be many generations born even after Matan Torah. So how can you say if the fact is that if they look at the Egel, then people would be born? You see that they knew before that the Kiva would be born, which is way after Matan Torah. Huh?
So this reference is Toldos Adam. That's in Rishis?
Sefer Toldos Agam. This is the chronicle list of Agam. So Agam going to have a sefer. So you might play on words. Agam Rishon was shown all the generations from Agam Rishon all the way to Rebbe Kiva. So you see it had generations.
So from before the Chet,
it's going to be lots of generations.
You see that there's already the generation after the Chet. So
Even if they wouldn't go to Chet, it makes no difference. You see it, maybe because the Chek Egel, why? No, you see that even though the Chek Egel was scheduled, it's going to happen. Still, you see that there was going to be children born, even though there's a Chaka Ego, right? Because Adam Arisha was shown the order of the generations, all with Gal Gerbakiva. So Gemara says, Gemara continues, this is a famous thing. Ein ben gavik ba ad sheyichlu neshama shebegufay. Mashiach can't come until all the neshamas, which is stored in the gufay. Gufay is a place in Shemayim where they store all the neshamas. All the neshamas have to come to the world until for Mashiach to come. Shengamar chiloy la'elam arib v'legetzam v'legetzach exoy kiruach mofada yatoy. Neshamas hasei asisi. So you see, Mashiach doesn't come until all the neshamas of the guf are came to the world. So how can you say that they wouldn't sing, Klal Yisrael wouldn't have been born? Mashiach can't come until everyone's born. So many more people will be born after Matan Torah, because Mashiach hasn't come yet. From the time of Matan Torah until now, Mashiach's not here, and everyone has to be born in order to Mashiach to come. I think Taisus has a problem. Maybe a Goyim, maybe refers to Goyim. Okay. Okay, fine. So because of this kasha, the Gemara says that Rish Lakish means something else. Roy Tema. Don't say that Rish Lakish means that if they were to sing, I'm a lo bala elam, ela ki mishu ay bala elam. Because they would be like such a high madrega, we would be considered nothing. Not that we wouldn't be born. That's not what Shlakish meant. Like Shlakish meant, if they wouldn't have done the Cheka Ego, they would be at such a high level, and we would be considered Kamishalai by the Laila.
The fact that we did the Cheta Ego, that means we went from the lows to the low, right?
Yeah, but if they wouldn't have done the Cheka Ego, the madrega that they were then, they were such a high level, it would be as if we're considered nothing. So it comes to tell you again that if they wouldn't have sing, we would die. Right? If they wouldn't have sing, it would be no such thing as Bisa. I accept Parshas Yevamis. How does Yevama work?
There was no real thing of Misa until Adam and Eve ate from the tree.
Right. That's true. And they brought Misa to the world, right? But it seems like if they wouldn't have sing, maybe people wouldn't have died. It says in the Torah, Parshas Yevamis, that works with a brother dying. Parshas Nachlas and Yerusha is only after a person dies. So, if it's true, they wouldn't die anymore. So that these two parshas would become nullified. There would be no such thing as Yevamis. It'd be a lot easier than the Daf Yomi. But and Nachla would be a lot less fighting, probably, right? There wouldn't be such a thing as Pishnayim, a double portion for the Bechar. It would be a lot less fighting. Mm-hmm. But either way, you don't want those parshas to become nullified. So it must be like such a thing as death. Mm-hmm. So Gemara says, Al Chagai. Maybe those parshas are ricking on condition that if they do the Cheka Egel, then there's going to be death. But it's conditional. Maybe the whole Yevamos and the whole Yerusha is all written conditionally. Miksivi Kral Chagai is such a thing as a Torah be written on Chagai. Ing. Yes. Gachiyam Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish. Ma Yechsiv. Vayi Erev Vayi Baker. Yom Hashishi. By Friday is the only day that it says Hey.
What's the reason? Why is that the only day has a hey?
Right.
On other days have it.
The last day Akash Baruch Hu made a Chagai. A condition with my separations. V'amar, if Kabul Yisrael as a Torah, if Klal Yisrael will accept the Torah on the 6th of Sivan, Muktav, they're going to keep the world around. V'lav, Akser Eschem V'asayim V'avoyu. So you see the whole world, you see the Torah was given on Chagai. So not only could it be like a partial Yevamos was given on Chagai, and not only could Yerusha be given on Chagai, maybe the whole Torah was given on Chagai. So maybe that's what happened. So you have no proof. Maybe it was all written on Chagai. Okay, Meisvei. Another kasha on Rish Lakish. It says in the Brisa, after Matan Torah, Mi yikeg v'hayu levavam zelahem v'yiroisi. Right? Who's gonna be with me to fear me, to do my mitzvahs, and it'll be good for their children. So what was the avtacha that applies to a guy in this world? You can't say Hashem promised if they do the mitzvahs, make the malach hamavis go gath, shekvar gigzag zera. It was already a zera on people like a shigai. Hala kibul yisrael sakira, ela kigay shiloi kahei. Right, Klal Yisrael accept with Kara ela kigay shiloi kahei. Uma v'lash shlakes mem. It must be like the reason. What's going to happen? The Kara will be giving. If you keep the Kara, the malach hamavis will remain. There'll be such a thing as a malach hamavis. You'll be geth, but other nations won't rule over you. So what do you see from the Brisa? It's a contradiction. You see that the Zara of Misa will not become nullified after Matan Torah. And according to Rosh Lakish says that if it wasn't for the Cheka Egel, there will not be Misa in the world. Here you see there will be Misa in the world, because here you see clearly there will be Misa in the world. You can't be Mavakal the Malach HaMavis. So the Gemara says, Hu Dabar Kiyai Torah. Rosh Lakish says that if it wasn't for the Egel, there wouldn't be Misa in the world. He goes like this Kaga. He followed the Kaga of a Brisa. He can't get Reitzi Eimer. Loi Kibul Yisrael Sakara. Klal Yisrael accept the Kara El Keshuah Yehei Malach HaMavis Shelik Bang. Wow. In order that the Malach HaMavis should rule over them. That's why I accepted the Torah. You learn new things every day, no? Shagama Aniya Marki Elohim Hakem Uvrei Al Yad Kulchem. Chibalkem Masechem. Since you get Averis, you get Egel, Achei Ka'agam Kimusing. So you see where Rabbi holds that as it wasn't for the Cheka Egel, there would not be Misa in the world, just like Resh Lakish. Rabbi Yossi Gami Aksiv Lama Yitem Lahem Ulemeim Aylam. So you see Rabbi Yossi says in order that you should have good for your children forever. Toiva Hu Gihave, you give it's only Toiva Misa Ika, because it's going to be Misa. So you're right. It's not going to be basically saying it's not going to be Misa. It all says in the Torah that it's going to be good for you. It doesn't say that it's not going to be Misa. It's going to be Misa. You're basically going to tell you, Amalach, Kivagaleka Misa, since there's no Misa, there's no greater good than not dying. So, even though the Pasuk says a Lashon of Taiva, but it seems like it will be Misa, no. So Rabbi Yossi can say that since it says Taiva, it means that it will be over death. Because there's no greater taiva, there's no greater good, there's nothing better than that.
After the sin of the Itadas, if it were to do the Egos up, then Hashem would have taken away death from everyone?
Yeah, it seems like, yeah. You're right, even though Dagger was brought into the world. That's where the sukkah so far, Rosh Lakish, Rabbi Yossi. Okay. The Karakam argues at Rabbi Yossi, Haksiv Achei Ka'agam Kibusim. It seems that even with Akacheka Ego, there will not be Misa. So why can Karakam say, my Misa Anias? Oh. What does it mean they were gag? It would be possible to nullify death. What does it mean? My Misa Anias. Because a person who is poor is considered as if he's gag. Right? So the Amar Mar, Arba Chashuvah B'Meisiv, there's 4 people that are considered gag. Elohei, Ani, a person who is poor, Suma, blind, Mitzayra, someone who has Mitzaras, Umisha Elah Blagam, someone who does not have any children. So according to Karakama, God which says you will die, doesn't mean you will die. It means you will become poor. So, and that's considered as if you're dying. Ani.
So it's figuratively speaking.
Yeah. Misa doesn't mean Misa. Misa means one of the 4 things. Ani Yechsev, it says, Hashem told Moshe, B'midyan, go down to Mitzrayim, Kimesu Kol Hagashim, people who are chasing after you of all, Kimesu Kol Hagashim, who are coming after you. Uman Genu, who are those people who are coming after you to kill you? Tashav Aviram. Umi Mesu. You got Gusting Aviram Guy, Mehave, they were around. Must be that Gusting Aviram, they were poor. So since they were poor, it's considered as if they're gang. So you see that a person who's poor is considered as if he's gang. Gusting Aviram is considered as if they're gang because they lost all their money.
Even
Still managed to cause trouble.
Even if you embarrass one, it's like you killed them. Embarrassment as well. It's like.
Oh, very good. Could be that you got embarrassed. Very good. That's the fourth. That's the fifth one, maybe. Suma. Suma, it says, "Va'echa v'machashkim hoshivari kimesi olam." So you see a person who is blind, he's like in the dark, not able to see, is considered as if he's gang. Mitzora, kechsev, after Miriam got tzaras, al ki kemes, should be like a gang person. So when you see that someone who has tzaras is also considered gang. Someone who doesn't have children, kechsev, havali bangim, giving children, if not, mesa angleichi, I'll be considered as if I'm gang. So all these things you see, all these four things can be referred to gang, even though you're not actually gang. And it's brought down why all these four things you can't contribute to society. An angry can't contribute to society. Mitzvah sent out. A blind person really can't contribute so much. And someone who is poor, someone who doesn't have children, the ultimate thing of this world is to give to your children. A person who doesn't have children, his Mishay Loibagam is considered like his mace. Okay. We said before, who is going to be a Yireh Hashem? Or if Hashem can do good to them, to their children. Hashem wants that we should do his mitzvahs, or if Hashem can do good for us. So Mara says, Kara Ablagan, if you will go in the chukim of Hashem, Hashem is pleading with us. Please do my mitzvahs in order that I should be able to do good for you. That's the lashon of im, the lashon of please. It says in Tehillim. It says, "Lu ami shamei kamat oiveim achnia." Va'omer lu hikshavke l'mitzvosai, va'aya kagahar shleimecha, va'hi kachol zarecha u'teksaei me'echa. So you see the lashon of im is a lashon of Hashem pleading, a lashon of lu ami, please people, listen to me, that I should be able to do for you good. It says in the Torah, "Mi yitek v'haya levavam." Who will give their hearts over to me, or to fear me, and to do my mitzvahs? Amalat Moshe Yisrael. Kafui toiva b'gei kafui toiva. You, Klal Yisrael, are kafui toiv. What's kafui toiv mean?
Ingrates.
Ingrates. The sons of ingrates. It's generational. Hereditary. To being ingrate. V'shah shabakash baruch Yisrael. Kav Klal Yisrael. Mi yikek v'haya levavam zeh lehem. Who is going to give their hearts to fear me? Hayalem leimar keng atah. You should be the one who will testify about us that we gave. You saw us give over your hearts. Why did Klal Yisrael answer that back? Because they didn't want to give thank you to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He was the one who helped them rule over the Yetzer Hara. So that's what he says. A person doesn't want to be Machzik Toiv, he's a Kaflik Toiv. If I can't say about you that you do something good for me, why? Because then I think I owe you something. So in order for me to be a Kaflik Toiv and not be a Machzik Toiv, I'll deny that you never get anything good for me, and I won't admit that you did anything good for me.
It's the best thing. The best way is just say nothing.
Well, that's what I gave over here. That wasn't really good. You really should have said that Hashem is the one who helped them conquer the Yetzer Hara. But since they didn't want to admit it, they don't want to be Machzik Toiv to Hashem. So Moshe calls them a Kafui Toiv,
Ingrates.
Ingrate. We see also clients who also ingrate, kafli toiva gechsev, by the mug. The mug is in the midbar. But shegu kotza. Melachem hakolkol. The mug was very light. It was something that easily be digesting, and you wouldn't have to ever go waste. There's no waste in the body. So it's an amazing thing to have mud, right? There's no waste. A person never has to, right? Never used to let it out. Nothing.
Was it filling though?
Right, it filled them up. So what? And what's still complaining? We don't like it. But Adam Arisha said, "Kadosh Baruch Hu, after Eka Zagas, Aisha Sharazaki Imagi, the wife that you gave me, who else can we make Eitz V'Eichel?" So he should, right? It's also an ingrate. He gave Adam Arisha a wife. What's the first thing he says about the wife is she's the one who caused me to sing. So that's also
The one that you gave me.
the one that you gave me, right? So there's a lot of examples. The one is Adam Arisha, and by Kadosh Baruch Hu it says. Like I should have said, Akash Baruch Hu was the one who caused them to be miskaber the Zara. Moshe Rabbeinu loy rubs olehem Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu got teach Yisrael this musar. Like I should have asked Hashem for a fearful heart. After they went down to the midbar for 40 years, Moshe Rabbeinu chap what Hashem was saying to them. So you see that Moshe Rabbeinu got chap this thing only until 40 years later. You see, a person doesn't chap what his Rabbi is saying until 40 years later. So because Moshe Rabbeinu got chap to say his Yisrael only after 40 years. So there's a shiloh always. Should a person learn Daf Yomi by himself, or should learn from a Rabbi? Right here it seems like in order to really understand what your Rabbi is saying, maybe it takes 40 years to learn from him. It's a long time. It's a lot of cycles.
Gotta let it sink in for a while.
Huh?
Gotta let it sink in
40 years.
a little while.
And this is Moshe Rabbeinu.
If you
What Akash Baruch Hu was saying until 40 years later.
If you want to go back to Chazar a little bit, then that you can do better stuff. But to go ahead is you have to.
Yeah, it should be Seymour. Okay, Amar Rab Yagas, Amar Rab Yochanan B'Shur Rabbi B'Nah. My Yichsev, Ashreichem Zari Al Kol Mayim B'Shalchei Regel Ashar B'Chamor. Ashreichem, praiseworthy is Yisrael. Mizmag Sh'oiske B'Kaira, L'Kamak Learning Kaira, B'Kamilas Chasagim, Yiksra Master B'Yagam. The Yitzhahara is giving over in their hags. They're not giving over to the Yitzhahara. Shigamar Ashreichem Zorei Akol Mayim. The Zriya al Skaka. Skaka is something which is planting. Shigamar Zru Lachem Skaka Uksuru Lefi Chasing. The Egg Mayim Alakira Shigamar have a cold summer Lechulamayim. Everyone should be thirsty for water, which is referring to Kaira. So Rabbi Yochanan B'Shur Rabbi B'Nah is saying, praiseworthy are the people who plant and the people who grows for them. So it's referring to people who do Kaira and Gemilas Chasagim, that they won't have a Yetzer Hara. Mishalchei Regel Ashar B'Chamor says I'm going to pass it. Mishalchei Regel Ashar B'Chamor Kara Gimel Yo L'Oilam Yosef Agam Atzmo Givrei Kaira. Person should put on himself the yoke of Kaira, Kishar L'Oil, like the yoke of an ox. Kachamor L'Masoi, like the package of a donkey. In other words, it's just stick a person. You should scare a person, right? That's what it's referring to, no? Person should be Isaac and Kaira, Miskaber as Yetzirah, only if he accepts upon himself the yoke of Kaira, like a ox and like a donkey. That's a person much a person has to be accept upon himself the yoke of learning in order to have this segula of not having a Yetzirah. We run around the world not to have Yetzirah. We should be Miskaber the Yetzirah. Here the Gemara is saying a very easy segula. Be Isaac and Kaira, be Isaac and Gabilas Chasagim, and you'll be able to rule over your Sahara. Okay? Back to regular program. Agarika is over. For now.
That was
The
nice.
commercials are done.
Commercials are done now, Chas v'shalom, but all the Giga is sure, but they want to get people to start learning Avodah Zara. They promise them
Plus we got
lots of Agarika. So it's true, there's a lot more Agarika probably, yeah. But it goes back to the regular Gemara too. This is
So fun to say you're learning about Zara.
it's fun to say that.
Rabbi Leuterman talked about it, right?
Yeah.
I listened to the first few seconds of his shir.
Uh-huh.
He says about doing Avodah Zara. Doing Masakas Avodah Zara, right? Learning Masakas Avodah Zara. Okay.
If anyone asks you why we're doing Avodah Zara,
Shloisha Yavim Asher Lasses Velasses Imam. Before the Goyish holidays, 3 days before the Goyish holidays, you're not allowed to do business with them. What are we worrying about? Huh?
Giving them pleasure.
We're worried about right. They're going to say, "Oh, so Geschmack, a Jew can do business with me. He's going to go be so happy. He'll go bow down because of Avodah Zara, right? I'm going to give him a holiday." So Yisrael, who sold him something, is over of the Eber. Maybe he going to go high. Do we need to be chayshish 3 days before the holidays? Then they're going to go shach and bring her animal to the Avodah Zara on the day of the holiday. You eat 3 days. I much now look at Mishkan Chuling. Ba'arba prakim b'shaga. There are 4 times a year a person who sells an animal to his friend. It was Isser Latayra, you're not allowed to shech the mother and the child on the same day. Oisav es benoi. You're not allowed to shech the mother and the child on the same day. So 4 times a year, if you're selling an animal to somebody, you can tell them, Ima macharki l'shleik. I sold a mother to be shechted today. Or bika macharki l'shleik. Or I sold a daughter to be shechted today. Because these 4 times a year, you need meat. So anyone who buys a behema is going to shechted on that day. Therefore, you have to tell the second buyer, you should go, I sold a mother today, so go shechted today. Because we go like these times a year, 4 times a year, we're going to explain when they are. Everyone needs meat. So, in order that to be over the Isser of Isser Esbenoi, shechting a mother and a child and a mother on the same day, you have to tell the buyer, you should go, by the way, I just sold a mother, and it's probably going to be shechting today because it's right before Yom Kiv. It's one of the 4 times. And therefore, you should be careful not to shech the offspring, or the opposite. I sold the offspring, go shech the mother on the same day.
is it because of Marasayan or what's the reason?
No, the Torah says it's like a rachmanis, some type of rachmanis. You don't want sensitivity. You don't want to shech the mother and the child the same day.
I would never have a havamina that it's a problem for the mother and the child to be shechted on the same day by 2 different people.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because it's a mitzvah. The mitzvah's on you. It's not on
The Isser. You mean the Isser is on you? Yeah, I hear that. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Very good point. You're not really good with the Isser. You're not good with the Isser, right? We're both not good with the Isser.
But
Somehow we can combine. The Torah says, the Gemara says you have to tell the second buyer, should go, I sold the mother on the same day. What are the 4 times? Elohim. Erev Yom Kiv Achar Shachag. Erev Shmini Atzeres. Right? Sukkos. Erev Yom Kiv Rishon Pesach. Erev Pesach. Erev Atzeres. Erev Shavuos. Erev Rosh Hashanah. Erev Rosh Hashanah. Okay, right? So clearly, Erev Yom Kiv Begalel. Right? Because we know you're supposed to eat on Erev Yom Kippur. Sorry, Erev Yom Kippur Begalel. Supposed to eat on Erev Yom Kippur. So what do you see? Right? Now, if you sell the mother or the daughter on that day, you can tell the second owner. But if you sold it 2 or 3 days before, you don't have to tell them. Why? Because a person doesn't take an animal that he needs 2 or 3 days beforehand. Right? So what do you see? So, for sure, you see only 1 day you need. And the same Erev the Yom Kiv. But you got maybe 2 days beforehand, the guy's going to shuck his animal. You see from here, a person doesn't buy an animal to shech a few days beforehand. Kosher 3 days beforehand. So why is our Mishnah worried that if a guy buys an animal from a guy buys a behema from a person, he 3 days beforehand, or they doesn't shak on the day of his or he'll shak it 3 days before his holiday. You see, a person really shaks an animal a day before he eats it. Torah says otherwise we should really warn a guy even 3 days before Yom Kippur. Maybe a guy will shak today, he'll shak a mother and the daughter the same day. So you see, you don't need 3 days, you only need 1 day. You don't even need 2 days, you only need 1 day. So once 3 days before their holiday, you're not allowed to sell them animals because they might go ahead and shak it 3 days before. So Gemara says, "Hasagul achila." They were talking about chul. We're talking about you're buying an animal to eat it. Sagi b'chag yaimei. It's enough if you eat it. You take it 1 day before the suga. Hachal la'krava. Our mission is talking about bringing taking an animal to bring it. Be'igah tosa yaimei. You have to make sure you go back 3 days before their holiday in order to do business with them 3 days. If you're talking about eating it, then you only have to have 1 day. I la krava sagim tosa yaimei. You see by krava, all you need is 3 days. Person should ask, deal with the halachas of karma Pesach 30 days before. 2 weeks before. Why you want to start learning halachas Pesach such a long time before Pesach? In order that everyone should have everyone should get a behema, which is right for a carbon. So you see that you need 30 days in order to go after a carbon. So why is our Mishnah only asked for 3 days? If a person is going to go get a carbon, he'll get it 30 days before. You see here that we sharlam hilchos carbon Pesach. We learn halachas of carbon Pesach 30 days before Yom Kippur starts, in order that we should have a carbon Pesach ready so much in advance. So you see, even for a krava, even for bringing a carbon, the Torah says that the Mishnah says that you allow yourself much more than 3 days. So Gemara says, we are much more careful about blemishes on a carbon. We hold a carbon as possible even if it has a cataract. Animal has a problem with his eye, a small problem with his eye. You can't bring it. But therefore we need 30 days in order to make sure that the animal is fit for a carbon. The only carbon that's possible for a guy is if it's missing a limb. You only need 3 days in order to make sure in order to go after a behema which is fit for their karbanas. Their karbanas were only marked by a mechusar aver. It's actually missing a limb. So they don't need so much time to find an animal that's not missing a limb. But we're marked by even on a small cataract of an eye of an animal. So we can have 30 days or 2 weeks, depending on the shita, in order to find an animal which is fit to be brought on Yom Kippur. Good?
Yeah.
The Amar Rabbi Elazar, how do we know that by Goyim, they don't bring an animal which is missing a limb? How do we know that animal is also to be brought by a guy, even if it's missing a limb? It says that Gayach was commanded to bring it to the keva. We call a chai from every live animal. We call basar shnayim. We call 2 from each. So why did it say we call a chai? It says we call a basar. Why do we call a chai and we call a basar?
We're talking about the kosher and non-kosher animals. When Noach brought non-kosher animals with 2 animals. When it was kosher, it was like 7 animals.
Aha. So you say that's a double usher? You teach you the non-kosher and the kosher. Amar Kaira, haba behema chai rasha varishalah. Make sure you bring an animal which the main limbs of it are intact, in order to be brought as a carbon afterwards. So what do you see? That it's also from Bangayach, a guy, to bring a mechusar aver, that's missing a limb, as a carbon. So therefore, Therefore, they would, you see, like a pasul b'chusar aver. Therefore, they give you much more time, they give you much less time to find an animal that was not missing a limb. We are makbid even a small little blemish, a cataract in the eye. But they're only makbid, the goyim, when they bring karbanos from his bath, is all sugi here. You see, like they brought, the goyim could bring a carbon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's interesting because my side of his back, you can't really bring even the Gubbish of Aying. So where were they bringing these carbonates for exactly? So why is it got Keshav mixes b'Gegoyach, like Kaisis Kasha? Why has it got one of the 7 laws of Noach? And you got allowed to bring a Mechusar Aver. It says Usser b'Gegoyach. What's Washer Usser? Kaisis has a whole, talks all about it here, about him. Okay, continuing on. I have a boy away, the pasuk of Mikol Achai. This is what Rabbi Yehuda was saying before. Have a boy away, Mikol Achai for something else. Maybe Noach was commanding Mikol Achai to make sure that he's not a trait for the animal. That you can't bring to the keva. It's not extra to teach you Mechusar Aver. The Gemara says, Trefa Melchaya Zera Gafka. It says in the pasuk, Melchaya Zera, that in order that you should be able to have Zera, up they call Oretz. And Trefa can't give birth. So you know that God didn't bring a Trefa into a Teva, because a Trefa says in the Torah that after they came out of the Teva, you're bringing animals in order that there should be, the world should continue. So, but if you brought in Trefus, right, then the world would continue. That's true if you hold that animals in Trefa can't give birth. So you're right. The Gabiyat is worked out from L'chaya Zera. But if you hold a Trefa, you still give birth. Michael Amemar. Right? You can't learn it out. You need Mikol Achai to be Mamayat Trefa. You don't have an extra pasuk, you be Mamayat Mechusar Aver. So how do you know that Noach was obligated not to bring Mechusar Aver as a carbon? We need the pasuk, Mikol Achai, to teach you Trefa. Because if you hold Trefa can give birth, you can't learn out Mechaya Zera, because a Trefa can give birth. You're going to Trefa. But if you hold that Trefa doesn't give birth, that's good. But if you hold that Trefa could give birth, so then it's not excluded from L'chaya Zera, because it could give birth. So the Kol Achai is needed to teach you Trefa. It's not extra for Mechusar Aver. So Amar Kra, how do you know that Trefa is excluded? Because the pasuk says you should bring it to the keva itach with you. Begaimelach. Noach, you should bring it to the keva. Things are compared to you. The same way you're not a Trefa. The animals they bring it to the keva also should be a Trefa. So you see that Mikol Achai is extra to exclude Mechusar Aver. So we're back to, we have a proof that an animal which is missing a limb is going to be excluded, to be brought as a carbon by a guy. So we're good. Now we're good. But Gilman Goyach Kufa Trefa Hami. But no, maybe Goyach himself was a Trefa. So that was, he was commanded to bring it to the Teva, things which are like you, maybe it's Trefa. Maybe Noach himself was a Trefa. So how can you say Itach is coming to exclude a Trefa? Maybe Itach should be like you, and Noach was a Trefa, and therefore Mikol Achai, you need to exclude Trefa, and you don't have an extra word to be Mamayat Mechusar Aver. So how do you know that a limb, missing a limb, is also considered excluded? We don't have a pasuk exclude Mechusar Aver. So Gemara says, "Kamim Sidmei." How can you say Noach was a Trefa? It says Noach was complete. So he was a Sholem Begufay. He had a complete body. He wasn't a Trefa. Maybe he was completing his ways. He was a tzaddik. Tzaddik Sidmei, right? He says he was a tzaddik. There's a famous song, right? Noach was a big tzaddik. Noach Right? So we have both. We have Tamim and we have Tzadik. So Gemara says, V'gilma Tamim B'dracham. Maybe he was completing his ways and his migos. He was a humble person. Tzadik B'maisav Ave. So but where do we go? Like he was a Shalim Begufay. Maybe Noach was a treifa. It doesn't make sense to say that Noach was a treifa. He's talking like a Noach treifa because if you're going to say that Noach was a treifa, Amalei Rachmana Kavasech Ayel Shleimim like Kyle. What would you think? Hashem is telling him specifically to bring animals into his keva like you, which are treifas. Doesn't make sense. The Gafka don't bring a shalom into a keva. Hashem's not telling you to bring an animal like you if you're a treifa. Oh, fine. So Noach wasn't a treifa. The Gemara says, now we're going to Mamayik treifa meitach l'chaya Zara lamali. So why does your pasuk can tell you that your life will continue on after the keva, right? Bring in life now in order that there should be life afterwards. L'chayra, it's trait was worked out from Ikach, so why are you Chaya Zara for? If it would just work out for Ikach, Havamina, I would say that Noach wasn't commanded to bring animals into the keva, in order that should keep him company. Right? But really, any animal which is not a treikva can come into the keva. I feel a zakek, I feel a saris. Even if you can't have children, even if the animal can't give off offsprings. Zara, right? You might kick from Ikach, again, Hashem is telling you, bringing animals into the keva should keep you company. It doesn't make a difference what type of animal it is. It could be a treikva, it could be an old animal, it could be an animal like a squirrel. It makes no difference what animal it is. Right? Therefore, Zara can teach you that the tachlis of bringing into the keva in order that they should be able to be fruitful and multiply the animals after the mabul. So that's coming to exclude a squirrel animal and an old animal. So it must be, it's coming to tell you that a treifa is memayit. Okay? Continuing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Back into the Mishnah. Shloisha Yomim. We said in the Mishnah 3 days before you can't do business with a guy. 3 days before the holiday. Hevi Gayim, is it 3 days Wichter holiday? So it's really 2 days before, and then there's 1 day of the holiday. Or Gilma, hey Belay Gayim. Maybe it's 3 days besides the holiday. Right? We go Canada, I like to take a lot of holidays. And they're very big in Canada. Like, if a holiday is Monday, they kick off Friday, Shabbos, Sunday.
How about in America?
America is only a couple holidays a year. Yeah. July 4th, Memorial Day, very big holidays. In Canada, every 4th Monday in the summer, something. And they're very big. So here also, are they very big? You have to take 3 days besides the holiday, or 2 days plus the holiday. Tashema. V'geshmol oimer. Shloisha lefgayim, 3 days before the Gayish holiday. V'shloisha la'achareim aser. Wow. V'shmol is more machmer. He says you have to count 3 days before and 3 days after. You can't do business with them.
The day of.
Oh. If you enter your mind, and the 3 days is including the day of. V'shmol, you have a gay and chashuv beikara. Chashuv is type. It seems like Rabbi Shmuel is counting the actual game of beginning with the first 3 days, and he's counting with the last 3 days. So the actual holiday is already included in the first 3 days beforehand. So you should always say 2 afterwards. You should say 3 before, 1 including the holiday, and 2 afterwards. Why does it say 3 afterwards? It must be that the 3 beforehand is not including the holiday. It's 3 days beforehand, the holiday, and 3 days afterwards. So you see, the 3 days that we're talking about in the Mishnah, you can't go visit with a guy, is not, one of them is not including the day of the holiday. It's 3 days before the holiday, plus the holiday. Good? Mm-hmm. Mar says, no, I Tana Shosha with me, I'm Tana Shosha Alacharayim. In order that we should have a good washing, we say the same washing, but go prove from here that according to Rabbi Shmuel, it's Hey V'Loy Gaying. Kashama, Kalrav Kachiva Barav Giva Shmuel. It says by Ayim Chachamim, make a holiday, Yom Rishon. Every Sunday was a holiday for the Goyim. So we give a Rabbi Shmuel, Ilam Asr. It should always be Asr to do business with the guy, right? Because every Sunday is what, 3 days before or 3 days after? Huh?
It's the whole 7-day cycle.
Right, basically you can never do business with the guy. I mean, at the beginning of the case, Zara talks about why we're not makbik today anyways. Because it's not really like Kachavim. The first cases, one of the first cases of Daf Beis talks about like L'maisa today, everyone does business with a goyim, right? They give profits to goyim, they sell things to goyim, they lend money to goyim.
They take selfies with Goyim.
Take selfies with goyim. So really, it should be usher a whole week, right? You saw the guy the having gang. I guess you're buying a 3 days means Wicca holiday. So it's only like 2 and 1. Well, my son, Ika Arba Chamisha Geshari. You have Wednesday and Thursday, which are mutter. If it's having gang, it's 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. So you have Wednesday and Thursday, which is not 3 days after or 3 days before. So you have it works out. So it's not going to be a whole week usher. But behold, hey, the lawyer gang, that means you can't take 3 days plus Yom Kippur, plus their Yom Kippur. So then you have the whole week as usher. Yeah. So leave it Rabbi Shmuel like everybody. You're right. Our Shaila in the Gemara is including Yom Kippur, holiday or not, is not according to Rabbi Shmuel. The hey, the lawyer gang. They're for sure gang. It's referring to hey, the lawyer gang, and therefore every day is usher. Ki kami b'ayli and leaving Rabbanan by according to Rabbanan, we don't say 3 days before and 3 days afterwards. Does it mean to include the holiday or it's 3 days besides the holiday? Good? Okay. Shkoyach.
Now, all right, Greenspan, I want to give you something a little bit here. We really appreciate you coming and helping us, keeping our Daf Yomi going in Rabbi Leuerman's absence. You have for your very own.
Ain't Shum Yish.
I ain't Shum Yish.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for
So if you ever need help, let me know.
You got it. You're on. Thank you so much.
Be well.
This was fantastic.
Be well. Shkoyach.